Ladies and gentlemen, life is full of tests. We all face moments in which we feel as though we are being tested by circumstances beyond our control. Yet sometimes we fail to recognize that these tests are not simply obstacles. They are divine moments. Moments when God is preparing us for something greater. Before every breakthrough, there is a period of testing, a season in which our faith is stretched, our character is refined, and our trust in God is deepened. It is during these moments that God is shaping us, molding us, and preparing us for the greatness that lies ahead. This is not a time to be discouraged or to lose hope. Rather, it is a time to understand that God is allowing these challenges in our lives to bring us closer to His purpose for us. When you encounter these tests, it's not an indication that God has abandoned you. Rather, it's a sign that He is preparing you for something much bigger than you can imagine. In the Bible, we read countless stories of men and women who face significant trials before they experience their breakthrough. These tests are divine appointments, and understanding the signs can help you navigate through this difficult season with confidence. Today, I want to talk about the signs that God is testing you before your breakthrough. These signs are not always obvious, but once you recognize them, you will understand that the trials you are facing are not just obstacles. They are the refining process that will prepare you for the life God has destined for you. Let us look at these signs so you can recognize them and remain faithful as you await your breakthrough. A season of silence. One of the most common signs that God is testing you before your breakthrough is a season of silence. In these moments, you may feel that God is not speaking to you. You may pray and pray, but it seems as though your prayers are not being answered. You seek guidance, but it feels as if God is distant and the answers you need are nowhere to be found. This period of silence can be one of the most challenging times in the life of a believer. You might even begin to question God's presence in your life. But I want to tell you today that silence is not a sign of abandonment. Rather, it is a sign of preparation. God is testing your faith during this period of silence. He wants to know if you will continue to trust Him, even when you cannot see His hand at work. In these moments, God is teaching you to rely not on your own understanding, but on His divine wisdom. Silence forces you to develop patience and perseverance. It challenges your ability to wait on God's timing, and in that waiting, you are being prepared for what is to come. Think about the story of Joseph. He spent years in prison, separated from his family and his dreams. During those years, it seemed as though God had forgotten about him. But God was silent for a reason. He was preparing Joseph for the great leadership role he would one day have in Egypt. God was shaping Joseph's character and his ability to endure hardship. Joseph did not understand why God was silent. But in the end, the silence made sense when God delivered him to his breakthrough. The same is true for you. When God is silent, it does not mean He is absent. It means He is preparing you for something greater. This silence is a test of your faith and your trust in His perfect timing. It is a reminder that God's ways are higher than our ways, and His timing is always perfect. So do not be discouraged when you feel that God is silent. Understand that He is working behind the scenes, and your breakthrough is closer than you think. Increased opposition. Another sign that God is testing you before your breakthrough is increased opposition. Have you ever felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong? Have you ever found yourself facing one challenge after another, each one more difficult than the last? These moments are not just random occurrences. They are often signs that God is testing you and preparing you for a breakthrough. Opposition is a necessary part of the process. It refines your character, sharpens your resolve, and strengthens your faith. In the Bible, we see countless examples of people who faced intense opposition just before their breakthroughs. Moses faced opposition from Pharaoh and from his own people before he led the Israelites out of Egypt. David faced the giant Goliath before he was crowned king of Israel. Jesus himself faced opposition from the Pharisees and the religious leaders before he accomplished his mission on earth. When you face opposition, it is a sign that you are on the right track. The enemy does not waste his time attacking those who are not a threat to his kingdom. If you are facing increased opposition, it means that you are about to experience something significant. The enemy sees the potential in you and wants to stop you before you reach your breakthrough. But I encourage you to stand firm in the face of opposition. Do not be intimidated by the challenges that arise. Trust that God is using this opposition to build your strength, your perseverance, and your trust in Him. As you face opposition, remember that it is not a sign of defeat, it is a sign of progress. When God allows opposition, He is testing your resolve and preparing you for the greater purpose He has in store for you. The greater the opposition, the greater the potential for the breakthrough on the other side. Unsettling transitions. A third sign that God is testing you before your breakthrough is the experience of unsettling transitions. You may find yourself in a place where nothing feels stable. Your job may be uncertain, your relationships may be in turmoil, or you may be facing unexpected changes in your life. These transitions can feel disorienting, and it may seem as though everything you've known is being uprooted. But these transitions are often part of God's plan to prepare you for your breakthrough. Change is uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Just as a seed must be buried in the ground and undergo a period of darkness before it can break through the soil and grow into a tree, you too must experience periods of discomfort and transition before you can experience your breakthrough. Aren't you proud? In the late 60s, just before the Civil War came in America, where there was a pole in Alabama known as the Derby pole. God uses transitions to move you from where you are to where He wants you to be. When things are in flux, it is a sign that God is redirecting your path, repositioning you for something greater. These unsettling transitions force you to trust in God's plan for your life, even when the way forward is unclear. God is teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. The story of Abraham and Sarah is a perfect example of this. God called Abraham to leave his home and go to a land that He would show him. Abraham had no idea where he was going or what the future held, but he trusted God and obeyed. The transition was unsettling, but it was necessary for the fulfillment of God's promises. God uses transitions in our lives to move us closer to the destiny He has prepared for us. Feelings of inadequacy. During times of testing, you may experience feelings of inadequacy. You may feel as though you are not equipped for the challenges ahead, or that you are not worthy of the breakthrough you are believing for. These feelings are normal, but they are also signs that God is testing you. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. When you feel inadequate, It is an opportunity for God to demonstrate His strength in your weakness. The Apostle Paul talks about this in 1 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10 when he says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." When you feel inadequate, it is not a time to give up or to doubt God's calling on your life. It is a time to rely on His grace and power. God allows you to feel inadequate so that you will depend on Him and not on your own strength. Moses felt inadequate when God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. He doubted his ability to speak, lead, and fulfill the task that God had given him. But God assured him that He would be with him. Your feelings of inadequacy are not a sign that you are unqualified. They are a sign that God is preparing to work through you in ways that will leave no doubt that it is His power at work. Delayed manifestation. God often allows the manifestation of your breakthrough to be delayed. And this is another sign that He is testing you. There is nothing more difficult than waiting for something you believe is coming, yet not seeing it materialize. However, delayed manifestation does not mean that God has forgotten about you. It simply means that God is preparing you to handle the blessing that is coming your way. When God delays the manifestation of your breakthrough, He is teaching you to trust in His timing. Delays are a test of your faith and patience. They force you to rely on God's wisdom rather than your own understanding. Just because you do not see the breakthrough yet does not mean it is not on its way. God is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating the details of your life for your good. The Bible tells us that God makes everything beautiful in His time. Trust in His perfect timing and remember that the delay is part of the process. God is preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. The longer the delay, the greater the reward. Increased desire for God's purpose. Another sign that God is testing you before your breakthrough is an increased desire to align your life with His purpose. As you face trials, you may find yourself more focused on seeking God's will for your life, desiring to know your purpose on a deeper level. This longing for purpose is a sign that God is working within you, refining your desires and aligning your heart with His plans for you. This desire for purpose is often intensified during times of testing because God is shifting your focus. He wants you to understand that your breakthrough is not just for your own benefit, but for His glory. When you begin to desire God's purpose more than your own comfort, you are positioning yourself to receive the breakthrough that God has in store for you. Just as Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Not my will, but yours be done." God desires for you to surrender your will to His. The greater your desire for His purpose, the more prepared you are for the breakthrough that will align with His plan for your life. A renewed passion for faith. Finally, before your breakthrough, you may experience a renewed passion for your faith. During testing, God reignites your passion for Him, your commitment to His word, and your dedication to prayer. This renewed zeal is a sign that God is strengthening your faith muscles, preparing you for the breakthrough that will require a deep, unwavering trust in Him. Your passion for faith will carry you through the tests, the trials, and the waiting. It will keep you anchored in God's promises, reminding you that no matter what you face, God is with you every step of the way. A test of character and integrity. As you approach a breakthrough, you may notice that God seems to be placing a significant focus on your character and integrity. This is a powerful sign that He is preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. God cares deeply about how you handle situations when no one is watching, how you make decisions when no one is looking over your shoulder. The tests you face during this season will often challenge your character and your ability to remain faithful, ethical, and true to your convictions, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. These tests of character can be subtle, but they are no less significant. They may manifest as opportunities to cheat, take shortcuts, or compromise your values for the sake of convenience. God will allow these tests to surface not because He desires to see you fail, but because He is refining your character to ensure that when your breakthrough comes, you will be able to handle the responsibility that accompanies it. Think about the story of Daniel. When Daniel was taken into captivity in Babylon, he found himself in a situation where his faith and his integrity were under great pressure. The king required everyone to worship a golden statue, but Daniel refused to bow down to false idols. As a result, he was thrown into a lion's den. But because of his unwavering faith and integrity, God delivered him. And Daniel's faithfulness led to his eventual promotion within the kingdom. This test of character, in which Daniel could have easily compromised his principles, was pivotal in preparing him for the great responsibility he would take on in the future. God will test your character in many ways, but every test is an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to righteousness. When you face these tests, remember that God is building within you the qualities that will make you a trustworthy steward of the blessings and responsibilities He is about to pour into your life. Character, integrity, and honor are not just nice qualities to have. They are essential in preparing you for the breakthrough that is coming. If you can pass these tests, God can entrust you with more, knowing that you will handle His blessings with wisdom and grace. When God is testing your character, it is essential to stay vigilant, humble, and faithful. Recognize that each time you make the right choice, even in small matters, you are proving to God that you are ready for greater things. Integrity is the foundation upon which your breakthrough will be built. And as you remain steadfast, God will position you to receive everything that He has promised you. A deepening of your spiritual disciplines. Another sign that God is testing you before your breakthrough is a deepening of your spiritual disciplines. In the midst of trials and challenges, you may find yourself feeling compelled to pray more, to fast more, to seek God's word more intently. This deeper hunger for spiritual practices is often a sign that God is drawing you closer to Himself in preparation for the great work He's about to do in your life. When you experience these heightened spiritual desires, it is a moment of divine alignment. God is positioning you to be spiritually prepared for the breakthrough you are seeking. This deepening of spiritual disciplines is not just about your relationship with God. It is about your readiness to handle the spiritual weight of the breakthrough that is on the horizon. God wants to ensure that when your breakthrough comes, you will have the spiritual strength to carry it without being overwhelmed or losing your focus. We see this in the life of Jesus. Before he began his public ministry, he spent 40 days in the wilderness fasting and praying. During this time, he was spiritually prepared for the challenges that lay ahead: temptations, rejection, and opposition from religious leaders. Jesus understood the importance of spiritual discipline and connection with the Father before stepping into his calling. This time of preparation laid the foundation for his success in ministry. Similarly, when God is about to bring you into your breakthrough, he will deepen your spiritual disciplines to ensure that you are spiritually mature and strong enough to carry out the purpose he has for you. These disciplines, prayer, meditation on scripture, worship, and fasting, are essential tools that will help you stay grounded, focused, and aligned with God's will as you move forward. They build your resilience and ensure that you have the inner fortitude to withstand the pressures and challenges that will inevitably come with your breakthrough. This deeper hunger for God's presence is a gift, not a burden. As you lean into this season of spiritual growth, you are preparing yourself to receive the abundance God has for you. Don't resist this deepening of your spiritual practices. Embrace it with open arms, knowing that it is part of God's refining process. The more you strengthen your relationship with God during this time, the more equipped you will be to handle the new responsibilities, challenges, and blessings that come with your breakthrough. Ladies and gentlemen, the signs that God is testing you before your breakthrough are not signs of rejection, but signs of preparation. God is refining you, strengthening you, and positioning you to handle the incredible blessings that are on the way. When you experience silence, opposition, unsettling transitions, feelings of inadequacy, delays, renewed passion for your faith, tests of character, and a deepening of your spiritual disciplines, understand that these are not obstacles to your breakthrough. They are the very tools God is using to shape you into the person he needs you to be in order to receive what he has planned for you. And here, God's tests are never meant to break you. They are meant to build you up. Trust in his perfect timing, remain faithful in the midst of the trials, and keep your eyes on the prize. Your breakthrough is not far off, and as you walk through these tests with endurance and faith, you will soon witness the manifestation of all that God has promised. So, my brothers and sisters, be encouraged. Your breakthrough is coming. God is with you every step of the way, and these tests are simply stepping stones leading you to the greatness that lies ahead. Stay faithful, stay focused, and remember that your breakthrough is right around the corner.